It's my privilege to welcome and introduce Yogacharya Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. He is Director of the Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research and Professor of Yoga Therapy at the Shri Balaji Vidyapith University, Pondicherry. He is the Chairman of the International Center for Yoga Education and Research at Ananda Ashram, Pondicherry, and Yoga Anjali Natyalam, the Primary Institute of Yoga and Carnatic Music and Bharatnatyam in Pondicherry. He is a gold medalist in Medical Studies MBBS with postgraduate diploma in both Family Health and Yoga and the Advanced Diploma in Yoga. A fellow of the Indian Academy of Yoga, he has authored 9 DVDs and 25 books and 21 competitions on yoga. He is a classical Indian vocalist, percussionist, music composer and choreographer of Indian classical dance. He is a recognized PhD guide for yoga therapy and is the first Indian to be recognized as an IAYT certified yoga therapist by the International Association of Yoga Therapists USA. He attended conferences in UK, USA, Italy, Malaysia, Germany, Switzerland, Canada, New Zealand, etc. He is an honorary advisor to the International Association of Yoga Therapists, Australian Association of Yoga Therapists, Worldwide Yoga Foundation. He is a member of numerous experts committees of the Ministry of Ayush, including a National Board for Promotion of Yoga and Naturotherapy, Expert Committee for Celebration of International Yoga Day, and the Yoga and Diabetic Program. He is a consultant resource person for the WHO Collaborative Center in Traditional Medicines in New Delhi. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome and put your hands together for Dr. Anand Balayogi Bhavanani.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Swagatam, Bonjour, Buongiorno, Buonasera, Buonanotte, Huya More, Boreida, Kiora, Salamat Pagi, Ayu Bovan, Ayushman Bhava, Shubh Dinam, Suprapat. A very wonderful day to be part of this United Consciousness Conclave 2022. Today, I'm here to talk about a topic, spirituality and the art of forgiveness. I would like to begin by invoking the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Paramparaye Vidmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Prachodayate Om Om Yoga Maharshi Dr. Swami Geetananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Puduvai Kalaimamani Puduvai Shakti Yogacharani Ammaji Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani Guru Mata Ki Jai. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Forgiveness, it is definitely an art. And for that art, you need to have a heart. Because forgiveness is a resonance of the divinity that lies within us and lies in others. We have multiple relationships in this human incarnation. It is said to be born human is the rarest of the rare. Aridu aridu manidarai pirattal aridu, says Tamil Mudati Avvaiyar so beautifully. When we are born human, we have relationships with others. Those relationships are relationships that are interpersonal relationships. We have relationships with our own self, intrapersonal relationships. And we have a relationship with the universe in which we live, the very cosmos, which is the transpersonal relationship. All of these relationships are bound to have differences of opinion. There are going to be occasions where we feel that we are wronged, or that we have wronged somebody. And this is why when we talk about the art of forgiveness, it is not just to forgive others, but also to seek forgiveness. So both the giving of forgiveness as well as the seeking of forgiveness come under that art of forgiveness in spiritual teachings. The beautiful culture of India, of Sanatana Dharma, gives us so many beautiful teachings. And the grand epic, the Mahabharata, in the Vanaparva, tells us forgiveness is a virtue. Forgiveness is sacrifice. Forgiveness is the Vedas. Forgiveness is the Shruti. Forgiveness protects the one who has done tapasya. So forgiveness is the sense of tapasya itself. It is holiness. And by forgiveness, the whole universe is held together. So forgiveness as that beautiful energy that holds the whole universe together. Now, when we talk about forgiveness, it is important to always remember that in every event that occurs, we need to ask ourselves the question, what is my role in that event? This entails a huge amount of swadhyaya, that beautiful niyama that we find in the Ashtanga Yoga of Maharishi Patanjali. In fact, all the yama niyama are giving us an opportunity to grow into that beautiful state of humanity for which we have incarnated on this bhumi called the karma bhumi of earth itself. When we have that capacity of swadhyaya, introspectional self-analysis, self-reflection, then we ask ourselves, whenever anything happens, we ask ourselves the question, what was my role in it? How have I contributed to this situation? Rather than saying, I am the victim and everybody else is at fault. So one of the first aspects of yoga is to take responsibility. And that is why, again in the Mahabharata, in the Udyoga Parva, we find the statement, righteousness is the one highest good, dharma itself. Forgiveness is the one supreme peace. Knowledge is the one supreme contentment. And benevolence, one soul happiness. So we can understand that Indian culture, which is based on the universal spiritual concepts, gives great importance to what is called as Kshama. Now, Kshama, which is forgiveness, is often combined. We say Kshama karo, forgive. That is Kshama karo. You need to have, with that Kshama, you have to have Kripa, a beautiful sense of tenderness, sensitivity, sensibility. You need to have Daya, which is compassionate kindness. And you need to have Karuna, which is empathic compassion. So along with that Kshama, we need the Kripa, we need Daya, and we need Karuna. So in order to have Kshama Kara, we need to have Kripa Kara, Daya Kara, and Karuna Kara. Daya Karo Bhagavan. We have to have that capacity. And this is why even in the Bhagavata Purana, we find Narada Muni telling us there are 6 cardinal aspects of virtue of being a noble human being. And that includes truthfulness, kindness, non-violentness, purity, austerity, and forgiveness. So when we want to work on forgiveness, it is important that, as Sadhviji was saying in the earlier speech, you have to be a giver. As long as you want to grab and you want to get, you cannot forgive. So forgive implies a capacity to give, and this giving is a give over. And this is why when we understand forgiveness in the yogic principle, we can see that it is part of the concept of 10 yamas. Now Maharishi Patanjali talks of the 5 yama, but in other traditions we find 10 yamas which include Shama in it. Many times in the Upanishads, in the Yoga Yajna Valkya, and so many other scriptures, we find this coming up again and again. But for that to happen, you have to be able to give. You have to have an open heart. Your Anahata Chakra should be resonating with love, compassion, empathy, and then you can give. What can you give? Forgive. And that is why we often say to forgive is very important. And often people mix it up in modern times. They say forgive and forget, or forget and forgive. Now, forget is wrong. Forgive is good. You need to forgive, but don't forget the lesson you have learned. As a human being, we are here to learn different lessons. As part of those lessons, people come into our life, events occur, People go out of the life, events occur. So all the events, all the people that are coming into and going out of our life are part of our steep learning curve. And in that curve, it is important that you always remember, as my beloved Ammaji, Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani would say, remember to remember. It's so beautiful. And don't forget to forgive. Remember to remember and don't forget to forgive. But remember the lesson. Because if we forget the lesson, we are doomed to repeat that mistake again and again and again because of the samskara and vasana, leading to more and more accumulation of the karma pala. Hence, to eradicate the karma pala, it is important you forgive. When you forgive, it is like letting go. And that is why a very important thing we can do is just shake, hold that event, hold that hurt, hold that person who has hurt us, and let go. We have a beautiful practice in our tradition called the Moksha Kriya, where we go back to these traumas, we go back to those hurtful memories, and we understand our role in it, and then we let go. This can be attributed to a teaching of Maharishi Patanjali called the Kriya Yoga. The Kriya Yoga of Maharishi Patanjali is based on Tapa Swadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana. So through Tapa, what is Tapa? Self-discipline. So in order to forgive, one has to have intense self-discipline. It is easy to go out and punch somebody. It is easy to say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But then we remember the whole world is toothless and blind. So it is important, self-discipline, which is that tapa. Then introspectional self-analysis of Swadhyaya. We need to ask ourselves, what is my role in it? How can I have changed it? What can I do now in order to change? You change the past by what you do in the present. And by what you do in the present, you change the future. So the past is changed by what you do in the present to create a future that you would like to witness. And this is why it is important that Tapa and Swadhyaya are giving us that self-discipline and introspectional self-analysis that enable us to understand our role and make efforts to change what has happened so that we can change it in the now. You cannot change it in the past, you cannot change it in the future. The only place change can occur is in the present moment. My beloved father and guru, Swami Geetananda Giri would say, do it now, din, 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 do it now. Now, the present moment is the moment. It is in this kshana that you can change the future. And to change it, you have to have the willpower, Ichcha Shakti. You have to have the Jnana Shakti. You have to know what has happened. And then Kriya Shakti, you have to put it into action. And this is why one of the most important aspects here is this combination of tapa, intense self-discipline, the self-effort you are capable of making. Self-effort is the spiritual currency. So the currency of spiritual growth is self-effort. That tapa, constantly asking yourself by that internal GPS, your internal selfie, which is Swadhyaya, and then realizing we are just a puppet. We are just walking on the stage, playing our role for a limited period of time. There is the whole cosmos, the whole universe. There is the beautiful divinity. Call it whatever you want. Ishvara, Purusha, God, you call it what you want. And the capacity to give over to that highest, Ishvara Pranidhana. Hence, I am suggesting that through the practice of Kriya Yoga, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana, we can eradicate the kleshas. The kleshas, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, that are at the core of karma. Klesha mula karmashaya. So those kleshas are fed by the samskara vasanas. So through the practice of Kriya Yoga, every moment of our life, we are constantly saying, I'm going to make that effort to change what has happened. And this is where the power of Pratipaksha Bhavanam, Vidarka Badhane Pratipaksha Bhavanam, says Maharishi Patanjali. There has been a hurt. There has been somebody or something that has led to an act which has hurt you or hurt others. or hurt those who you love? How can you adopt a bigger perspective? How can you have a wider perspective that can enable you to understand the matrix of karma, the universal matrix of karma? As you expand yourself spiritually, as we expand our perspective, we will start to understand why things are happening. And at that point, we will have the heart to practice forgiveness as an art. I would like to end with a beautiful statement from Pujya Ammaji, my beloved mother in Guru. She says, you should be able to look at all these situations with Viveka and Vairagya, discernment and non-attachment. That is when you can see things as they are and do what is needed to be done. She says, observe without identification. Observe without identification. Observe without condemnation. And observe without justification. When we can observe our life, every moment of our life, every relationship, every event, without identification, condemnation, and justification, at that point, we will have the heart to forgive others, forgive ourselves, and realize that ultimately it is all Bhagavan Kripa. It is all that Kripa of the highest divine. And we realize that we, as an individual, are here to burn out the karma. Every pleasant, unpleasant experience is an opportunity to burn karma. And then we start to thank people, not just forgive other people and forgive ourselves. We start to actually thank them and we have gratitude. Kritagnyata is a beautiful quality because we realize they have. I thank the organizers for organizing this grand event, United Consciousness Conclave 2022, bringing eminent masters from all over the world so that we can all come together as one humanity. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Namaste, Dhanyavadaha, Shukriya, Nandri, Vanakkam.
Thank you very much, Yogacharya ji. Listening to you is always a treat to the soul. I personally look forward to listen from you, and that's why many times I call you and request your presence in our programs. Thank you very much. In such a nutshell, you have explained such deep philosophy of Swadhyaya, Tapas, and Ishwar Pranidhana. And so beautifully you mentioned about your revered father and Guru, that, and probably this is the take home message for all of us, that whatever Yogacharya ji has said us, do it now, din din din. So I'm sure that we will start executing it now as it is. Thank you very much, Father, for your
Thank you
blessing.
for the wonderful yoga seva you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani to come onto the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much.